Hello, I'm Nola, and welcome if you're new to the channel, and welcome back if you're not. Today is, I don't know, I kind of want this video to kind of just be like things that have happened in my life and or things that I have seen, or what's it called? The folder I'm putting this in is going to be like a story in a life or something like that. But when I was getting my cockatiel, which her names will probably end up being Buttons. Her name will probably end up being Lady. I don't know what is going on with my mind right now. I did not get a good night's sleep last night. And you think I would have? Because I worked my ass off at the gym. Look, I'm telling you, these guns, like they're up at the moment. Look, wait. Oh yeah, you see that flex? Look. I'm gonna be buff one day, okay? Look, I'm hitting the gym. Gym's kind of hitting me back, but that's okay because pretty soon I'm pop pop. Anyways, and I was getting a lady at the pet store, and we're not having a discussion on if you like that or not, because take that up with your administration. I don't like it either, but realistically, one person buying a bird from a pet store is not going to change anything, because regardless, she was going to get bought. Anyways, pause, press, play, back to the story. While I was getting her, I was standing there for a long time, just kind of observing them. But then there was this woman, right? Really beautiful, nice hair. Her hair was up in a ponytail. I'm pretty sure she was in a crop top. And she said she liked my bird case that I had I had Buttons in, because I had Buttons with me at the time. And she was on her phone and she was looking at the guinea pigs, and I kind of watched her because I like to watch the world around me, and when I do that, I don't know, I just like watching people fascinate me, and I like watching people around me. All right, and I was kind of like between watching her and watching the birds, and I see she's looking at these two guinea pigs. She's texting on her phone. She takes a picture. She's looking at the guinea pigs again. She backs away, taking another picture, texting on her phone, looking at the guinea pigs. And then eventually, she leaves. And then she comes back, and it's her and three other people. I don't really know what role she played in this, but I could tell it was a family. But it was her, a younger kid, an older man, and a middle-aged man, is from what I could tell. And I'm 99% sure I was watching a core memory for this kid, because they were getting a guinea pig for him. I don't know if it was for a birthday or something, but it was so cute. Like, seeing how excited this kid was to get these guinea pigs and how excited the family was. And the dad said, so I only assumed this was the father, but for the sake of me not really knowing, I'm just gonna say the older man. Bro, he was a funny as hell. He was like, "You're gonna make him box." He was like, "You're gonna make him fight," and then he was like, this maybe wasn't as. It gave me a bit of a chuckle. He was like, "Well, what happens if they like eat one another?" It was so, like, his humor was just like so funny. And he said a few other things, but on top, or from everything he remembered, or everything he said, I remember those things, right? But anyways, so she was thinking of recording of him, and I saw that, so I moved myself out the way so they could have that moment, because I'm pretty sure she was recording for somebody who wasn't there. But eventually the employee came around and was helping them out, and just telling them the basics of having what's it called, a guinea pig, because she had guinea pigs of her own, like the worker, And I was kind of just listening to that while I was still looking at the birds now. And it was so cool seeing, like, I don't know, when I used to work at a pet store, right? I love seeing the excitement when it came to people who genuinely, like, for one, loved their job, because she clearly loved her job. And for two, the excitement that an animal can bring to somebody's life. And obviously, without getting too into it, there's a lot that goes into owning an animal. I know that. I've literally lived with animals my whole life. Plus, I worked at a pet place, which even though you should always do your own research when it comes to animals, I have learned a lot about a lot of different animals. Fish, snakes, reptiles, dogs and cats I already, like, pretty much kind of know about. But you learn and you see a lot, and there's a lot that is good and bad when it comes about pet places. I'm not gonna lie, but the pet place I worked at, I loved. That was my favorite job. I loved the people, I loved the management, and obviously I love the animals. So seeing this person seeing these people more so get this animal, and the excitement it brought them made me so happy. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I saw a core memory for this kid. Like, they're gonna look back 10 years later, and hopefully they'll still have their guinea pigs. I don't know how long guinea pigs live, but they'll be like, oh my gosh, remember this video? And then they show the video. It was so cute. Like, I don't know. Like, I love seeing people just happy and excited for something that they've always wanted, because it seemed like this kid always wanted a guinea pig, right? And I know too, when it comes to, like, kids wanting animals, that can also kind of be a really touchy subject, but from what I saw, those animals were in good hands. And plus two, people can deny giving animals, or at least my place did. Like, if we thought you couldn't handle a pet, we would straight up just deny you. I'm pretty sure they can do that everywhere, but I'm just gonna speak for the place I used to work at. We could deny you of an animal. But yeah, that's one little story in a life. Another one is something that you can learn from. Okay, so if you're new at driving, right, remember to put your little app, what's it called, your maps, whatever you want to use. Personally, I use Magic Map, bop bop. Anyways, make sure that you put it on no tolls, because I learned something today. And take this experience from me. Put it on there, okay? I have been driving for a few years now, right? I think I've had my driver's license for like 5 years now. 5 years now, okay? I'm kind of a moron. Right? So, I'm not one to travel really far. I want to, and I'm trying to learn to. But, I recently got a few violations because I didn't really understand a toll booth. So take it from me, and, if you see a toll booth, you shouldn't see a toll booth, because what I did is I was driving, right? I was driving because I was dropping off a delivery for somebody. And when it comes to me driving and kind of my life in general, I've kind of been in what you call a bubble. Kind of been in a bubble, right? And I'm trying to expand that bubble. So when I get older, I'm not SOL. And this is part of a learning process. I know I call myself a moron, but in life you live and you learn. Just as long as you don't do it again, that's okay. Yeah, so it's like an express lane, right? And I got a violation because I didn't pay it, because I didn't think you had to pay it. How I thought tolls worked was like they were up a lot of the days, but certain days they would be down, so then they stop you and then you pay for it. Yeah, no. The ones I went through, that is not how it works. I don't know if you can hear that. That was very loud. Anyways, yeah, no, that's not how tolls work. This one specifically, there's like money on an account, and then like you put a sticker up on the side from what I have gathered. I mean, it's paid for now or whatever, but this is just a learning curve for folks who don't really know how the road works. And not even how people who are in my situation, I guess, in the sense of like being in a, we call a bubble, or like didn't really like know stuff like that. Like I didn't know that was a thing. And I knew tolls were a thing, but I was like, okay, well, it's open, let's go. Don't pass 200 and go back. And the thing is too, how in this situation, how could you even like turn around? Because I would have turned around. Like I would much rather wait in the long. Okay. Well, let me set the scene for you. I need like a pen. Any excuse for me to draw, right? Yes. The drawer I'm going through is my stuff shit in drawer. AKA, there's literally everything in here. It may take me a minute, but just like those violations, they're gonna find me. Well, I mean, they already did because I paid for it, but anyways. Where is... Okay, well, I guess I don't have any sticky notes. Any other time I do. And maybe too, I could be explaining this totally wrong right now. I doubt I am. Here, you know what? Here we go. Paper. Right. And I hope that's the right word. Is it driving? I just gotta... I don't know. I hope I'm using the right word, but I essentially, was a little confused. So, if you ever do a driving service, for one, you need a certain type of insurance, just in case you ever get in an accident. And for two, just know a bit of your stuff, learn from me. Let me make the mistake so you can correct my mistake. Anyways, we are going to quickly draw this. So this is going to be traffic, right? And then this is a very vague memory, all right? I'm trying to draw this the best I can with what I remember, right? And okay, so that's and then the tolls are right here. I don't know. I think honestly this is maybe an express lane. I don't know, but like I said, I'm trying to write this on the best of my memory, right? Right. Okay. So this is what it looked like, right? That's traffic, and this is like the toll lane or something. Me, being the bright little soul I am, actually, you know what? I take that back. My GPS put me here, but I feel like I should have known better. But like I said, you live and you learn. Because I'm never doing this shit again. There's me. And then I slowly just keep minding my fucking business. And then I keep going. And I actually, this is not really a good description of what it looked like. But like, because I'm trying to remember the best I can. It wasn't this easy because it cuts you off like way before you can just go here, because it kind of like sections you off before you hit this way. So yeah, don't correct what I did wrong. It will save you like $25, which wasn't really that expensive. But you know, to me, $25 is $25, especially in this economy. That could have bought me like some eggs right there, but no, I didn't really know the road that well, or more so the GPS. But you know, again, it's my fault because like I didn't put no tolls, which I didn't really think that was an option on maps, which I should have, but I didn't think it was gonna really take me there. But it did, and it cost me $25, so boo. But another little story. This actually happened the other day. I was swimming, right? Because like I said, I'm trying to get these muscles up. I'm trying to reverse my, I'm trying. But yeah, so I was at the gym the other day, right? And I was getting out the pool. Actually, I was already at the pool. I was taking a nice old tan. Because, I'm trying to, if you're mixed, you'll understand this. But, like, when you're stuck in the house, or not, I wouldn't say stuck in the house, when winter comes around, it's like you lose color. Think of it like this. You know those markers that don't have any color when you first open them up, and then you have to, like, press them down for the color to come back? That's me in winter. The color sucks back up into the marker. That sounds very suggestive. Anyways, yeah. That's me. I have no color, so I have to, like, kind of get the ink back. And I was taking a nice tan, right? And actually, tanning is really fun. Like, I didn't expect me to like tanning as much as I did. I was enjoying myself until a bee came around. I have to draw this real quick. I have to draw a happy little bee. Because, you know what? He deserves to be happy, right? And did you know flies were pollinators? I didn't know that. And that's why those fishy, nasty-ass smelling trees smell like that. It's because it, flies pollinate them. Anyways, this is the bee. It was like bzzz. I was like, hell no. I took my ass inside, right? I got my little flotation device, took it out because like the doors lock behind and I'm not trying to be stuck outside. Anyways, so I go back inside and I see this woman, right? She's beautiful. Like, this woman is beautiful, right? And I saw her before I went outside, and I didn't really say anything, but I wanted to, right? Because I don't know what it was. I don't know if anyone's ever had the feeling you're just, like, drawn to someone, but in the sense of, like, complimenting them. And I'm someone who, like, likes to compliment people, because I like making people happy. Like, making people happy makes me happy. And I didn't want to be rude, because I know I was looking at her, but I wasn't doing it in a judgmental way. But I know a lot of people can take it like that. When I look at people to observe people. But I know socially, you shouldn't stare. But I don't stare in, like, a mean way. Like I said, I stare to observe, like I want to get to know you without you telling me about you, Anyways, looked at her the first time. I don't think she saw me, though. Second time, I come out, and she's closer to so there's the door, and then you walk through, and then there's the pool, so there's a little space to go around, right? I go up to her, and I'm like, hi, ma'am. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, because she's working out, right? She's building those muscles. She's, giving her some her time, right? And I go up to her. She's like, I'm beautiful. She has little earrings. She's got her pool earrings on. She got a little bit of makeup on, too, because she wanted to see if it was, like, waterproof or whatever. She was so beautiful. And her bathing suit, too. But anyways, like I said, this woman, everything was beautiful. She was so beautiful, right? I go up to her, and I'm like, hey, sorry, I don't really mean to interrupt you because I know you're working out. But I'm like, you were just so beautiful. I'm like, wow, you're just so beautiful. I'm like, I don't mean to like be rude and like stare at you. I'm like, you're just so pretty. And she was like, thank you. She's like, I really appreciate that. Because she said she didn't feel like, I don't want to say necessarily beautiful at that moment, but she was kind of, it just wasn't her day at that time, at that moment, right? And then we kind of talked about how little a compliment can go and stuff like that. And then like we smiled, we gave each other a high five, and she said that really like made my day. And I'm like, I'm so happy that made your day. Like, that makes me so happy. And I can just remember her beautiful smile. But yeah, and she was like, that makes me want to work out even more. And I'm like, well, you go, girl. And like I said, we did a high five and then we left, or then I left because she was like in the pool. And you know, this is all to say, a compliment can very much go a long way, right? And don't ever be afraid to compliment somebody, because you never know how their day is for them, you know, and a little can go a long way. And one thing I want to do in life is spread positivity and make people who may feel down on their luck, or who may not feel as pretty that day, or just whatever it may be, to know that even on your dimmest days you still shine no matter what, right? And I don't know, I just love seeing the reactions and how it makes people feel better about themselves when you give them compliments. Like I said, I love making people happy. Like, that's really, like, the only thing I want to do in life is just make people happy, and to let them know in their heart, even if they don't know it themselves, especially, that you are so beautiful. And even if you may not see that, it's there. It may just be harder for you to see it because you live with you every day. And I feel like people who, honestly, I feel like this goes for everybody, you don't realize how beautiful you are because you have to look at yourself every day. So something that may be special to, something that is special about you, you may not see it as special. Like, for instance, one of my friends, there are so many things about my friend, and particularly my best friend too, that they don't see in themselves that I see. And you know, the same is vice versa, because like I said, I deal with myself every day. Things that I don't necessarily think that are special about myself. Like, I know there's some certain things, like, I guess my positivity, for example, I think that's something special to me, because I don't really see a lot of people, I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I know how I view things is special in something that I feel like a lot of people admire, but I feel like there's a lot of other things that about me that I don't necessarily say it's special about me, that my friends see special about me, right? And it seems to go for them. I know they see things that may not be special about them that I see. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? You are absolutely amazing. And even when it comes to looks too, like, they may not view themselves in the highest regard. I'm like, bro, like, if I had a, wait a minute, like, bro, you know that meme, right? Where you're like, give me that, with the card hitting. Yeah, that's me to them, because, like, you are so fine, baby boy. Just let me tell you. But yeah, like, and lifting people's spirits up, especially in that nature, in the sense of just telling them that even though I don't know you, I can see that brightness in you, and like, them hearing that, it can mean so much to people. And like, letting people know that they shine bright, even if they're blind to their own shininess, even though they are blind to their own brightness, it's still there. And I just love doing that. Like, even on the days when I feel down, complimenting somebody else makes me happy, because like I said, it makes them happy. Because I feel like these days a lot of people don't really like acknowledge other people. Everyone is so like concerned and so self-centered, and that's not always a bad thing, by no means. It is not a bad thing to an extent, but when it comes to the extent to where, and you know what, let me go back, rewind. People are low-key just really mean, and I only am going to speak for the US because that's where I live. I'm not going to speak for other areas because I don't live there. People in the US tend to be very hostile towards each other. That's what I should have said. Not everyone is like that, but people hate a lot here, and people are very hostile towards each other here, and they would rather watch you fall just so they can climb. It's like crabs. Americans are like crabs, because if you put crabs in a pot, if they're going down, they'll be damned if you're going up. And like, there are very few people who are like that, but overall it crushes the little bit that aren't like that. And I feel like if people were just a bit kinder and not as guarded, which that's a lot easier said than done in this day and age, but it takes nothing to be nice. You being nice, and I mean like just simple as a compliment, you being nice or holding the door for somebody cost nothing. And I'm not even talking about like giving someone $20 or like, I don't know, paying for somebody's gas. I'm just talking about just being nice. Like, hey, I like this today, I like that today. Or like, hey ma'am, you look really nice today. Or hey sir, you look really nice today. It takes nothing to give a smile to somebody else, and I will live by that. And I understand it can be hard, especially because there's a lot going on, and there's a lot we all got to worry about because we all have our own lives and stuff. But you know, if you see a stranger and you think they look nice, just be like, hey, you look really nice. And especially, you never know what can come from one conversation. Me for example, I literally made one of my best friends, one of my homies, one of my home dogs, from literally, it was more of like a tunnel event, but it's, okay. If I, taking the fact out of how this person got here, how we met, if I didn't do this one thing, it wouldn't have triggered the other thing, which made us friends. Well, I mean, I asked if we could be friends straight up, but you never know what little events can trigger something long term. You never know. You never effing know, right? So, hoping on the fact that this person never sees this, I'm gonna tell you. So, my tire got popped. I'm notorious for popping tires. Literally notorious for popping tires. Anyways, tire popped. Called AAA. Hey, pop tire. A girlie needs some help. Alright. They dispatched somebody to me. Little did I know at that time, that would have been my homie. And that's Buttons, if you heard her. Anyways, yeah, no. Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna get her real quick. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, anyways. I popped my tire, called up AAA, got dispatched somebody. Little did I know that would be my homie right there. After I get my car dropped off at my destination, he's like, do you mind if you leave a review? And I'm like, of course, dude. And like the little talk that we had, it was a nice little talk, you know? I was like, yeah, because I don't leave reviews for like really anybody, right? But for him, I was like, bro, of course. And I look like shit. Bro, I look like shit. And I'm like, respectfully, this man was fine. I mean, he still is fine, you know, but anyways. Yeah, no. I left a review, and then like a few days later he texted me saying like just thanks for the review or whatever, and then like it's history ever since. Going on 6 months of being homies, and I hope he never sees this. Fingers crossed. But yeah, if it wasn't me for doing that nice act of, you know, giving that review. Oh, nope. Please poop over there. Yes. Oh, good job. Okay, she doesn't want to get on my fingers, so I'm not gonna make her. But anyways, yeah, no. If it wasn't for the fact that I did that nice action of giving him a review, we would never. Okay. There's like a 90% chance that we literally would not be friends right now. And that's why I say little actions can go a long way. And I will live by that. I will always live by that. And you really shouldn't do nice actions to get something in return, because you shouldn't expect anything from a nice action. But you never know what those actions can later unlock in life. For instance, my friendship with my home dog. Like, I wanted to, like, when if I ever have a chance to talk about him, I do. Okay? And I'm taking this opportunity right now. When I first saw him, I was attracted to him, right? Like, I don't know what it was about him. Something about him, though, was just, like, captivating. And I was like, I really want to be his friend. Like, I really did. But I felt like it was kind of unprofessional on my part, the customer. And I overthink, too, which doesn't really help. To be like, hey, you want to be friends? Here's my phone number. And you know, something I wanted to do was write my phone number on the tip I gave him. I didn't end up doing that. I also didn't know he would have my phone number, because I thought maybe he was like a work phone number or something. It was his personal phone number. So when he texted me, I was like, oh, sweet. Like, you know, I was like, I need to shoot my shot, right? Which is why I straight just asked him, like, because we had a bit of small talk, right? And then I sort of was like, yo, you're really cool. Do you want to be friends? And I don't regret that, you know? Look, making moves is better than not making a move at all, right? And I'm so glad I balled up and made that move, because I don't really know if he would have done that. I don't know. But I did, because I really wanted to be his friend. And now we're going on like 6 months of being friends because I made that move. And that's also to say, if you see that person you want to be friends with, just ask. Because I feel like, now we're going on another topic. I feel like nowadays, especially when it comes to like people who are like around my age, I'm in my early 20s, by the way, it is so hard to make friends. And I feel like everyone is so scared just to ask, which I know is a lot easier said than done. But I feel like we should maybe start normalizing that instead of just assuming that not everyone wants to be your friends. Like me, for example. When I asked my homie to be my to be my friend, I don't know why that was an awkward silence, pause, whatever. I thought he was gonna, I wouldn't say I thought he was gonna say no, but I assumed he was gonna say no, right? And I overthought too, and I was like, is he just saying this to be nice, or, you know, is he really gonna like want to? But like, he said yes. So, you know, I was like, you know, and like, I also know too, when it comes to asking people to be your friends, you never really know what you're getting yourself into. But life, you don't really know what tomorrow's going to be like. Today could be a normal day. Tomorrow, you literally could have $1 million. You never know, right? Or you can have one of your bestest friends that you don't even know about yet. But yeah, I feel like we should. But also saying that, though, I feel like there's a lot of things when it comes to friendships that people my age and a bit older don't really I don't know. I feel like there's a good amount of people who really want the luxury of having a friendship, but not the responsibility either. Luckily for me, I lucked out, right? I don't mean to be a glazer, but I'll glaze him all day. Pause. Pause. But like, seriously, like, I never thought I would find someone like him, let alone in a friend. Like, I know everyone has their own version of friends, but for me personally, he fits like every box because he's attentive. Because I like people who are a bit more attentive. He's attentive, he's sweet, he's kind, he's caring, he's funny, and I have to have a funny friend. I can't have someone who's like serious 24/7. And the thing is too, he's funny, but when he needs to be serious, he's serious. He's not just always making jokes and stuff. When things have to be serious, he, and then he's serious, right? And he's just so selfless too. And he's just so awesome. And I'm so glad I have him as a friend. And I honestly never thought I really would have that in a friend or friends in general. Especially because, like I said, making friends in your 20s are really just in general, not strictly just in your 20s. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It ain't easy. But for the fact that, like, we stumbled upon each other is, like, crazy. And, like, we just fit each other so well. And that makes me, like, so happy. And I feel like if people took the time to actually be friends and not just want friends just to have them, because when we have to have those hard conversations, we do. It's because we care about each other and we want our friendship to grow. And I feel like people don't really take that time and give their friendship time to grow. Because something too is that people just want people who are exactly, or not everybody, but I feel like a lot of people want people who are like them. And if there's something, like one thing they don't like about that person, they cut them off. And I'm like, people are about individuality. Like, just because we may not exactly agree on something doesn't mean we still can't be friends, And I feel like a lot of people just tend to want someone who's exactly like them. And, there is inherently nothing wrong about that. However, I don't feel like it's fair exactly for the other person, But like I said, that's whose ever choice to make. It's not mine. This is just my opinion on it. But yeah, I kind of totally got off a topic. I'm not going to lie. But like I said, if there's any time to talk about I will. I will. Shame me if you must. Maybe I like it. Maybe I won't. Sorry, I get. But yeah. Because, making friends is fun too. I mean, it kind of is stressful. I'm not going to lie. Because there are some days to where I'm like, oh my god, did I do something? And it's just me overthinking. Like, 90% of the time, it's just me overthinking. And that's another thing I really like about him, is the fact that he takes the time to, like, understand where I'm coming from. Because I feel like sometimes when people, like, explain where they're coming from, people just say, like, oh, you just want the attention and the sympathy, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm telling you this because I have problems I'm trying to work through, and I'm taking the time out of my... I am trying to tell you where I'm coming from. I'm not doing it for sympathy, because there have been a few times where I've, like, overthought, and I straight up told him that, I'm like, I'm telling you this, not because I want sympathy, but I'm telling you this because I have this problem that I don't necessarily like sharing. However, me holding it to myself and me thinking these thoughts that aren't true is only going to end up affecting me. But I'm telling you this because I care about our friendship. Because there have been a couple of times where I thought, like, he just, like, low-key did F with me. Because that's just things I've experienced in my past, right? And I took the time to kind of tell him that, like I said earlier, I'm not saying this because I want attention or anything. I'm saying it because I want to make sure that you aren't just friends with me because you're feeling bad or something like that. Because another thing I've dealt with is people who were my friends and they didn't really want to be my friends, right? And I feel like people would rather suffer than just be like, hey, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And I didn't want him to be that situation because I genuinely really liked, I genuinely liked talking to him, especially when, especially all the time. I like talking to him is like, getting to touch like a rainbow. It's amazing. I don't know how touching a rainbow would be, but I bet it would be amazing. You know what? No, talking to him is like paradise. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. Like, I feel like some people feel like humans aren't as complex as they actually are. And people are very complex. Like, actions speak louder than words. However, sometimes those actions are a result of things that come from the past. People aren't just copy and paste or like cut and copy. People are very complex. However, it's up to you to decide whether how they're acting is because they truly don't care about you or it's because of something they've dealt with. Like I said, I am an overthinker. I'm a very bad overthinker and I'm working on it because sometimes I tend to make I try to make air a ball in the sense I always try to make air a ball, and I mean that in the sense of always try to make something out of nothing. You can't make a ball out of air. It's impossible. I'm trying to make something out of nothing, and I try to work through those to be better. It's like blinding me, but yeah. I try my best to disconnect what I think versus reality. Because this doesn't happen really much anymore. Because he's given me many signs to where he's not just with me for pity or anything. He's with me because he genuinely likes being with me, right? I have to disconnect what I think versus what is real. His actions and my thoughts, he proves me wrong, right? And I feel like it's good to know when you're friends with someone, especially kind of in the beginning, not to like, I don't want to say dump on your problems on them per se, but let them know that there may be things about you that may make you ask certain questions because of what your past is. Like I said earlier, I'm an overthinker. I'm an overthinker and I don't think highly of people, right? And that's just because people in my past just made me think like that. And I try my best not to think like that because I shouldn't think less of somebody because of what I used to deal with when I was younger. I let people set their expectations for me too. And also too, another thing is I feel like people expect themselves in other people. But anyways, back to what I was saying earlier. Sometimes when it comes to situations to like, I guess mine, for example, you should let people kind of aware of where you're coming from. Because sometimes I need extra reassurance. And that's just not because I like attention. I don't really like attention. I don't really like attention. Especially when it comes to the sense of, I like having the reassurance, but I don't like bringing that stuff up because I don't want people to think I'm doing it for attention because I'm not. That's just things that sometimes people just need reassurance that you aren't just there for the sense of like wanting something or really whatever that reassurance may come from. Like you're actually friends with me because you want to be friends with me. I mean, people, like I said, people aren't always evil, right? I know I just said that I tend to think very low of a lot of people, but like I said, I'm trying to change that mindset. People are a lot more complicated than, they're just saying that for attention. No, people make things known because they want you to know that if something happens, like for instance, my friend knows I'm an an overthinker, right? Because I feel like that. What the hell? Sorry, I just like have something like, oh, I think that's the marker from earlier. But yeah, so it's good for him to know, because when I am ever in those areas, he knows that, hey, your thoughts aren't what I think, I guess. And I'm a lot better at that now than I was when I first met him. Though, you know, if it helps somebody when I say that, you know, actually, you know what? This will probably help. Like I said, your thoughts aren't what people think, right? That's just how your past kind of almost shaped you to think. And if you genuinely feel like that may be a problem, have those tough conversations or let it be known. Because if a problem is known in a friendship, if that person genuinely cares about you, they'll take the time to help you solve them, or not even solve them per se, but when you're going through that, they understand. Because if they truly care about you, they will stay with you and understand, or try to help ease you when you go through that. And even though it's not their job to, I don't want to say fix you per se, but find ways to cope with that, when you do ask those questions every once in a while, they will take the time to sit with you and confirm that, hey, I'm here because I want to be here, because I genuinely care about you. And plus, also to look at their actions, and that will put your voices at ease, or your thoughts, whatever it may be. It takes a lot. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. However, it still can be done. It may take a lot of time. Everyone has their own way. For me, I look at the actions and I look at my thoughts. And when I genuinely do feel something like that may happen, or not may happen, but when I genuinely feel one of those thoughts pop up, like I said, look at the actions. Or if I need reassurance, depending on what it is. And if it's that bad, I ask. And then it's dealt with how it needs to be dealt with. But yeah, having those hard conversations, and you have to open up, and especially if you're uncomfortable with it, okay, how do I put this? You have to open up, and you may have to have those uncomfortable conversations, especially when it comes to personal things that you've been through. Like how I worded it when I first had one of these thoughts was like, I'm not saying this because I want sympathy or anything. I'm saying this so you understand where I'm coming from. Wording it something like that to communicate that you're not doing this because you want anything. You're doing this so you understand. And then go on like that. I hope I worded that right. I had an aneurysm trying to say all that, especially because she was on my head too. I didn't want her to poke my eyeball out. But yeah, if people care about you, they'll take the time to be with you. And that's one thing that he's definitely taught me. And like I said, actions will speak louder than your words, or actions speak louder than words. And especially, or if you're in the case of like, online, I feel like it's the same way, but in the sense of like they take the extra time to actually like say, hey, even if they're busy, because if someone cares about you, even if they're busy, and this has been proven to me, that they'll take even that second just to say, hey, I hope you have a great day, because my friend is very busy, right? And this, obviously every situation is different. This man is always busy, but he always at least takes a second to say, I hope you have a great day, whether it's a call or a text. And that tells you everything. And I feel like it would be the same online too, because we text and call a lot more than we see each other. and they will show you in those ways, like just good morning texts. And I feel like a lot of people overlook the littlest things. Like they'll say good morning or they'll say good night, and even if they don't always fully text you consistently, they'll always at least let it be known that they want you to have a good day. And you know what? It doesn't even hurt to tell them that, like, hey, I'm thinking about you. Hope you have a great day, or something like that. Like, there are so many ways you can go about, like, showing someone that you care when it comes through actions. Because there is the bare minimum, but there are also signs that are more than just that. And I'm sorry if I'm looking down. I'm petting Buttons right now. Well, she still should technically be asleep, but she is not. She's supposed to be in bed for like another hour, but she's up a little early. Boop boop. And plus, you know, too, something that I adore about him is that he likes my bird. I feel like Arthur Morgan. You want some jelly beans? You want some jelly beans? Look at her. Yeah. Oops. You know what's funny too? I'm telling you a little story. When he first learned about my birds, he thought her name was Butterscotch. And when we were on the phone, he said, "How's Butterscotch?" I'm like, "Butterscotch?" I was like, "Butterscotch?" And he was like, "Yeah, butterscotch." And I'm like, "You mean Buttons?" I'm like, "Where'd you get butterscotch from?" And he was like the B and the U. But yeah. He also likes, and sometimes he whistles to her too. It's so cute. Man, he's such a great friend. But anyways, yeah. And there are probably other ways too you can tell if you have like someone who's trying. But yeah, she kind of distracted me. We're gonna have time for Buttons. Look at her eyeballs. Button-S. Buttons, you are the best. Button-S. Oh, Buttons, you are the best. Button-S. Buttons, you are the best. Button-S. Beep, 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 beep. Buttons, you are the best. Look at her. She's so cute. Aww. You want some jelly beans? You want a bird? Oh, look at her. Oh, man. Yeah. Get a Buttons. Get a Buttons. Get a Buttons. Yeah. Get a Buttons. Get a Buttons. Get a Buttons. He also, too, the other day when I went to the pet store, when I got the cockatiel, I was talking to the lady or the woman, and she was like, "Oh, what's your bird's name?" And I was like, "Buttons." She was like, "Buns?" She's like, "Hey, Buns." It was funny because how I say it. Buttons. I think I just say it really. I don't know. I think it's part of my accent and just how I speak. Because buttons, like, I don't know. I feel like it kind of sounds different. But look at her little head. Yeah, you. Yeah, look at oh my god, she's so cute. Look at her. She kind of looks like a pigeon. I think I heard her fan. Oh, no. Oh, yep. Nope. Now she's biting my finger. Yep. Now she's gone. Oh. Peekaboo! I think I scared her. I'm sorry, Buttons. I didn't mean to scare you. We played peekaboo it was yesterday. She had so much fun. And that's around the time that she started talking. I don't get why people get birds to talk, honestly. Like, I know kind of. I don't know, I may sound a bit hypocritical when I say this, but I just don't, like, I don't mind how she talks because she doesn't really do it often, and she actually kind of started doing it more yesterday than anything. But yeah, I don't get why people get birds to talk. That freaks me out, especially at night. My biggest fear, or not biggest fear, but a fear is having a bird that talks at night while I'm trying to go to sleep, and they're just like, "Peekaboo." Or like, I probably want a cracker at night. At night with a hash slinging slasher. I don't. That's spooky to me. Now there's an ad. Anyways, look at her. But yeah, no, that's what freaks me out. And or why I just don't get why people. I don't know. Maybe people just. I don't know. Maybe it's just the company aspect of it. But like it just freaks me out. And she started. Oh, hi. You know, I'm honestly shocked too that she's this friendly this morning because she's kind of grumpy in the morning. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, you're not a morning girl. Well, no, she is, but then she doesn't like, she's to herself in the morning. But yeah, look. Aww. But this video is long enough. I don't really know how long this video is, but this is Buttons. I'm me. Welcome if you're new to the channel. Welcome back if you're not. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Oh, oh, oh.